What's up, guys? It's Tanner 5.9 high output here. This video is going to be on why you should let your truck cool down after after you've been driving it. Mainly because of the turbo. But any vehicle, I mean, if you're running it real hard, I live up here in the mountains, go down into town every day, come back up. Any vehicle, you want to let it, cool down a little, have the oil flow through the engine, kind of cool everything down a little bit, coolant flow down, cool down everything a little bit. But on these third gen Cummins, you got your turbo right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a line coming in right behind the inlet of the turbo, and that is a oil line. And these have oil cooled turbos. So basically, what that means is, as the turbo gets hot, there's a bearing in there, and the oil cools the bearing because the oil running through the engine is going to be not much cooler to us as human beings. It's still going to burn you no matter what, but it's going to be cooler running through the engine and siphoning down to the oil pan and then coming back up through the engine as compared to it going right off of the turbo. And the reason you want to let your truck / turbo cool down, especially if you just climbed a hill. I live at 5,500 feet. Town is 2,900 feet, something like that. So I mean, you climb, and especially with it being summertime now, everything's a lot hotter. I'm seeing coolant temperatures right at about 200 climbing the hill now. So I mean, you want to let that cool down. But if you don't let your turbo cool down, the oil that goes through that bearing will start to do what they call coke. It will start to coke the bearing. And basically what that means is the oil will basically boil in a sense and leave like a weird sludge on the bearing, which will drastically reduce the life of your turbo. And it can make it not spin as good. It can make the spots where the oil goes through to cool the bearing not be as readily open, so you're not going to get as good cooling. So you want to run when you get to your house, or you get where you're going, or if you're towing and you stop at a rest stop at the top of a big pass or something, you want to let that cool down. Everyone says rule of thumb is like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. I don't go off the time because the time is, in a stagnant environment. What you want to do, everything I know, they say you want to let your EGT, especially if you have a monitor, watch that. If you don't have a monitor, honestly, you let that sucker sit at least 5 minutes before you turn it off. But if you have a monitor, you want to get that thing down to about 400 degrees. I've told my wife that when she drives it, because I said that's the biggest thing that'll kill a diesel, as far as it running good. If that's the only issue you have, is worrying about somebody else driving your vehicle, you want to do that. And so I've told my wife that. She knows that. I've told other people who have diesels, they pull up somewhere, after hot rodding it on the highway, you see them pull into the parking lot and they turn the truck off. Don't do that. Let it get under, at or under 400 degrees. I read somewhere one time it was 300, but I've sat in my driveway at it's 100 degrees in town right now. It's probably only about 85 or 90 up here. I've sat in my driveway to let it cool down to 300 to see how long it takes, and it takes a good probably 10 minutes to get down to 300. 400, I believe, is the number. You guys are more than welcome to Google that, or check with Mopar, check with any of your local techs that you trust. But 400 degrees is about the number you want to look at. And like I said, you're not going to, the 1.5 minute rule, you're not going to see that if you were just towing up a hill with a trailer, especially the way people tow with these things. The Cummins is underrated by every means. But I mean, if you're still towing, 8,000 pounds, which yes is much under what it can tow, what it will tow, but you're gonna see 1,200-degree EGTs climbing that hill. It's gonna take a lot longer to get from 1,200 to 400 than it would me climbing my hill empty, because I think I saw about 900 coming up the hill, and then you get on level ground and levels out to about 750. Yeah, you wanna let that get to about 400 degrees or so. You don't want your oil to coke. Big thing with that is too, if you guys aren't running synthetic in these, they're good for synthetic. The synthetic will definitely cool and lubricate that bearing a hell of a lot better, especially with the high temps that you're seeing on the exhaust side of the turbo. So you really want to get it around 400 degrees before you shut it off. And a lot of people, they go kind of fancy, and they get what's called a turbo timer. Basically, what you do is you can leave the truck. You turn the key. Everything is still on, but it's kind of like a remote start, but reverse, where basically you turn the key off, you get out of the truck, you close your doors, you lock it, and it will stay on until the EGTs reach your desired temperature on that turbo timer setup. You can do that. 99% of the time, I'm not in that big of a hurry. I go somewhere, I like to see my EGTs go there and then turn it off. So I mean, yeah, that 400 degree mark is really what you guys want to shoot for. Like I said, yeah, minute and a half. If at winter time, it might be a little different, but I mean, even then, the engine's still going to run the same similar temperatures as it will in the summertime, assuming you have your coolant's good and your radiator's good and all that. That's the good thing about these third gen Cummins, is they're I think it's like a 4.5 gallon cooling system. So I mean, it'll keep cool, but those EGTs are still what you want to look at. So 400 degrees. Check out the turbo timers. A lot of people buy them for like your Subis, your WRXs, your STIs, your Evos, stuff like that. I know you can get them for these, but if you don't feel like spending that extra money, if you're in a hurry or something, just wait for it to get to 400. That's the best I can say. I really hope this video helps some people out there. I will do my best to name this video the best I can. I've noticed lately with a couple of videos I've been doing, they've been helping some people, because when they search things, you're using the terminology that you either got from a professional, you got from somebody that knows what they're doing in your area, and people who post the videos don't post them with the correct terminology. My last video, which I'm getting another code for again, but as far as the TPS goes, the throttle position sensor, technically speaking, there is no throttle on these trucks. And so that's why I made the video, and I said, well, it's not a throttle position sensor, it's the accelerator pedal position sensor. Seems silly, I know, but I found out the hard way after like 2 weeks of Googling shit and just researching, finally, oh, it's not a TPS, it's an APPS. So, if you guys want to see that video, it was the last one I uploaded. Go to my channel, check it out. Give me a like, thumbs up, subscribe. Really helps me out trying to get the channel going here. Like I said, 400 degrees. Let that turbo cool down. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.